Okay, we are now officially on air, and I'd like to welcome you all to National Maths Week in Ireland. It is the first time in the history of National Maths Week that we are going to be doing an online maths show. I'm here in Cape Town, South Africa. We have schools in Ireland, 5 schools. We have 1 school in South Africa, and we also hopefully will have a few other schools joining us. I can already see that we've got 8 viewers. The number of viewers from around the world is already increasing, so people are watching this live as it happens. So let's get everyone to say hello. Hello, boys and girls. Wow, okay. So now I'm going to ask all the teachers if you guys can just mute your microphones, and we're going to start with our first little activity. In order to get you to think in a mathematical way, it's very important that you switch your brains on to work like a mathematician. So the first thing I need you to do is to put your arms out in front of you like this. Thumbs pointing down. The backs of your hands are touching. Are you all okay with this so far? Yes? Nod your heads. Great. Now you take your right hand and you put it over your left hand. For some of you, it's your other right hand. It's the right hand on this side of your body. So have a look. The hands are touching. I put my right hand over my left hand, and I close and I hold it out in front of me. Is everyone able to do that? Now I'm going to do this with you. We're going to do this slowly. You ready? 1. And without letting go of my fingers, 2. We come out nice and straight. That was pretty easy. No, you guys look like you're still tied in knots. What's going on there? Should we try that again? Let's try that again. I don't understand what's going on. Maybe they do things very differently in Ireland. And Shalanti, hopefully you guys are getting it right. Let's try that again. Thumbs pointing down. The backs of your hands are touching. You take your right hand, you lift it up, and you put it over your left hand, and you close. I'm going to inspect each classroom to see if they've got it right. Yes. Yes. Let's have a look. Looking good. You guys are looking fabulous at the moment. Oh, Seamus, your class looks outstanding. Let's have a look. We're going to go back to Brendan's class. Let's have a look. It's looking good. Deirdre, let's have a look. Fabulous. And of course, Marcia, let's have a look. Karen, let's have a look. You guys are looking so good. Niall, we can't see you, but hopefully you can see us. So here's the thing. Keep your arms like that. Right hand over left hand. Hold tight. And I'm going to do this with you slowly. I'll even move back so you can see it clearly. You ready? 1. 2, without letting go of my fingers. There we go. That was nice and easy. No, you guys are still tied in knots. What's going on here? Wow. I think we should actually unmute the microphones because I'd love to hear the feedback of what's going on there. So you guys can unmute your microphones. If it's a little bit noisy, we'll try and control it. So who thinks they know how I did that? You know how I did it? Put up your hand if you think you know. We've got a couple of hands. You know, it's very interesting that when I ask my students, how is it possible that I do the same thing as you and you come out all tied in knots and I come out straight? And here is the secret. You always get that one student who says, I know how you do it. It's because you are double jointed. And have a look. Maybe I am double jointed. And then you get the student who says, no. It's not because you're double jointed. It's because you do magic. Let's have a look. Is it because I do magic? No. Some sometimes people say it's not because you're double jointed or you're doing magic, it's because you are an alien. And they might not be wrong. Check this out. Can you see that? But now, someone always says to me, it's not because you're an alien, it's not because you're double jointed, and it's not because you do magic. It's because, wow, what's it over there at the back of your classroom? And the minute you look at the back of your classroom, you have fallen for my trick because you were not watching me. I did something very sneaky. You all did this. I did not do that. I went like this. Put your hands out like this. You're going to put your thumbs pointing down and the backs of your hands are touching. And then I take my left hand and I turn it up. And then I turn it over and I put my right hand on it like this. And it comes out nice and straight. That was pretty sneaky, wasn't it? All right. So what did we learn? We learned that I'm going to be very sneaky for this whole show, and hopefully I'm going to catch you out with all of my tricks. Oops, let me just... Okay, so I'm just muting Dondi over there in Hungary, because she might be translating to her students. All right, and let's get a photograph of Dondi. Big smiles. There we go. Okay, so now that we've warmed you up and we've got your brains working, it's time for my first very special trick. I want the teacher in each class to choose one student who is going to be taking part in this activity, and you will need some of your currency. I have this much money, but maybe you guys have got some euros that you would like to test it on. You're going to pick, each teacher will choose one volunteer to stand in front of the camera. Okay. Have you got someone? Excellent. So I know in Karen's class. Oh, how much have you got there? How many euros is that? 50 euro. 50 euro. Let's have a look over here. Seamus, your class. Oh, how much have you got? 20 euro. 20 euro. Let's get a photograph of you with your 20 euro. That's wonderful. Okay, so does every class have one person with some money? Okay. So here comes the challenge. For each person that has been chosen, I'm going to ask you to do something, and if you can do it, you get to keep the money. But if you don't, then your teacher gets to keep the money, because of course they provided the money, so it's only fair. And because I'm a good sport, if you don't manage to do it, you will still get a prize from me. Okay? So here's what you need to do. You take your paper money and you need to fold it in half 10 times. So when I say half, I mean you can fold it like this. That's one. But you can't go 1, 2, 3, 4. No. And this is not a half. That's definitely not a half. You can fold it long ways. There's a half, that's 1. And then you can fold it again, that's 2. And then 3. As soon as you fold it in half 10 times, you get to keep the money. So let's have a look. You guys can start. Ready, steady, go. Who got the first?
I got 6 now.
6. 6 is the most so far. We have a record of 6. Can anyone beat 6?
Goodness gracious.
You're doing well. Hold up your folded money if you've managed to do it. Did you do it in Karen's class?
7.
How many times did you fold it? No, I don't think you folded it. I don't think you folded it in half 10 times. It's got to be in half 10 times. Shame managed to do it 10 times. No. Oh, you did it 7 times. Seamus did it 7 times. That's the record so far. Marcia, what happened in your class?
We've got 7.
7 times.
7.
Brendan, how many in your class? 7. Very good. It seems 8. Martina, what happened in your class? How many did they manage to fold? 7. Well, here's the good news, boys and girls. You ready for it? The good news is that those of you that were planning to win the money today, I'm afraid it's not going to happen. And there's a very good reason for that. It's because it's impossible to fold the money in half 10 times. So teachers, you can hold on to your annual salary. You can breathe a sigh of relief that they haven't managed to take the money. But now, we're going to talk about why, mathematically, you cannot do it. So here's the thing. When I take the money, and teachers, please remember the name of the student that was chosen for this money experiment. And then you guys will email me the names afterwards and your postal addresses. And I'll make sure that we send it all up to Claire to pass on to all of you. So, when you fold your money in half, the first time it is 1 page thick. When you fold it the first time like that, it's 2 pages thick. When you fold it again, fold number 2, it's 2 pages on top of 2 pages, which makes 4 pages thick. When you fold it again, it's 4 on top of 4, which makes it 8 pages. So it's 2, 4, then 8. What pattern do we see here? Doubling. Very good. So it doubles from 8 to 16 to 32. And if you keep folding it in half 10 times, you are going to have a pile of paper that is 1,024 pages thick, which is basically like 2 packets of photocopy paper on top of each other. The other problem is that when you take the money and you fold it, and just to let you know, we have 40 people around the world that are watching this live who are not actually in this classroom. So to all our international viewers, welcome, welcome. If you take this money and you fold it in half, Notice it is full size now. I fold it for the first time, it's now half its size. When I fold it again, it's now half of a half, which is how much? A quarter, very good. And then when I fold it again, it's half of a quarter. How much is half of a quarter? An 8. And if you keep folding it in half 10 times, it's going to be 1,024 times smaller. Which means your pile of paper is going to grow and the size of your paper is going to shrink. So this is my gift from me to you. You're going to go home to your mom and dad today. You're going to say to your mom, Mum, with your best Irish accent, top of the morning to your mum. And then you're going to say to her, could I please borrow 50 euros? And your mum will say to you, what are you going to do with my 50 euros? You say, I will bring it back in 5 minutes. You then go to your dad and you take the 50 euro and you say, Dad, how would you like to win 50 euro? And your dad will say, oh, I would love to win 50 euro. So what you do is you say to him, well, Dad, if you can fold this 50 euro in half 10 times, you can keep it. But if you can't, you've got to give me 50 euro. And we all know what's going to happen. He, unfortunately, is not going to succeed. And when that happens, you go back to your mum and you say to her, Mum, this is your 50 euro. Would you like it back? And she says, I would love it back. And then you say to her, would you like to win my 50 euro? And she says, oh, I would love to win it. And then what happens? You tell her, well, if you can fold your 50 euro in half 10 times, then you can keep my 50 euro. But if you can't, you give me 50 euro. How much money are you going to make tonight? That's what I like to hear. Wow, and just think of all the candy you can buy for 100 euro. All right, so now we're going to go on to something a little bit different. I'm going to pick one person out of all the schools we have here, and I'm going to choose, let's go to Karen's class. Would you like to pick one student in your class?
Veronica.
Okay, so who have you chosen?
This is Veronica.
Sorry?
Veronica?
Oh, Veronica. Hello, Veronica. Let's get a photograph of Veronica smiling. Okay, so Veronica, this is going to be very simple. I want you to choose a number from 1 to 63, but I don't want you to tell me what the number is. You got one? Okay, what's your number?
I'm not supposed to tell you.
You're not supposed to tell me. You were listening. That's excellent, because you know I'm very sneaky. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some numbers up on the screen, and if your number is on page A, you say yes. If it's not, you say no, and I'll move on to page B, and I'm going to try and read your mind and work out your number. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if I can share my screen, and let's see if it's going to behave itself. Right. Veronica, is your number on slide A?
Yes.
It is. Okay. Is your number on slide B?
No.
No. Is your number on slide C?
No.
No. Is it on D? You're not sure? Yes or no?
No. No.
No, it's not. Is it on E?
Yes.
And is it on F?
Yes. It isn't.
Yes or no?
No.
No. So now, Veronica, I'm going to switch back to you, and hopefully I'm back on the screen again. You chose the number, you ready for it? 17.
Yes.
Was that correct? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But maybe I just got lucky. So we're going to pick someone from another class. Let's go all the way to Martina's class. Martina, you want to pick someone?
Maya.
Okay, where is my friend Maya? Let's get a photograph of Maya smiling. That is a smile. That's a very good one. You've obviously smiled before. Very good practice. So Maya, I want you to choose a number from 1 to 63. Do not tell me what your number is. Have you got a number?
Yes.
Okay, what's your number? They're not falling for my trick. I love this. You guys are a good audience so far. So now, Maya, I'm going to show you your options. If it's on the page, you say yes. If it's not on the page, you just say no. And I'm going to work out your number. Do you think I'm going to get it?
I don't know.
She doesn't know. Let's find out. Let's go to the beginning of the there we go. And share screen. And by the way, I'm going to email this particular PowerPoint to all your teachers, and then they can forward it on to you so you can try this trick on your family and friends, because it will drive them absolutely crazy. All right, so let's share the screen. Right, are we ready? Okay, Maya. Is your number on screen A?
No.
No. That was very, very certain of you. What about B?
Yes.
Oh, it is on B. What about C?
No.
No. What about D?
Yes.
What about E?
Yes.
What about F?
Yes.
Oh, let's see. Let's just, I sort of double check to make sure we got it right. You said it wasn't on A. You said it was on B.
Yes.
You said it wasn't on C.
No.
But it was on D.
Yes.
Okay? And then you said it was on E.
Yes.
And then you said it was on F.
Yes.
Wow. Drum roll, please. Let's see if I've got it right. 58.
Yes.
Oh, look at that. That is remarkable. That is remarkable. Now, who would like to learn how to do that trick? Put up your hands if you want to learn how to do that trick. Okay, we've got a whole bunch of people putting up their hands because they want to learn how to do the trick. So here's how it's done. I'm going to show you something, and I'm hoping you will see a connection between what I've just shown you now and something we did about 5 minutes ago. Are you ready? Have a look at this PowerPoint again, but this time, have a look at the top left-hand corner number. What do you notice? 1. What do you notice now? 2. What do you think is going to come next? 1, then 2, then 4. What's going to come next? And then, and then, so what was going on there? So what you'll notice is that when we were folding the paper money, before we did our first fold, it was 1 sheet of paper thick. When we folded it the first time, it went to 2 pages. When we folded it again, it went to 4, to 8, to 16, to 32. So those are actually what we call binary numbers. And some of you might not have learned about exponents, or to the power of, 2 to the power of 0, 2 to the power of 1, 2 to the power of 2. But those feature very prominently in how we work out the answer. Now, before we get to the maths part, I'm going to explain to you how the trick actually works. You ready? When I ask you to choose a number from 1 to 63, you choose a number. And when I ask you, is your number on A? And you say yes, I take the top left-hand corner number and I put that many jelly beans in my jar. If you say that your number is on B, then I will take 2 more jelly beans and I'll put them in my jar. So for every sheet you say yes, that's how many jelly beans I put in my jar. And if you say no, it's not on that sheet, I ignore the number. And at the end, I add up all the jelly beans and then I know exactly what your number is. So for example, let me pretend, and I'm going to share the screen again. I'm going to choose a number. Let's pretend I choose 25. And you ask me, is your number on the screen? And I look and I say, yes, it is. How many jelly beans do you put in your jar? 1 jelly bean. Then I ask you, is your number over here? And obviously I say no. You ignore number 2. Is your number over here? No, it's not. You ignore number 4. Is your number over here? Yes, it is. So you add 8 more. So now you've got 8 and you've got 1. That makes 9 jelly beans so far. Is it over here? Yes, it is. I add 16 more jelly beans. What do I have at the moment? 16 and 9 makes? 25. And is it over here? No. So then how many jelly beans do I have? 25. So the number that I chose was 25. So just to test that you understand, I'm going to choose a number and all of you are going to work it out. Are you ready? Okay, let's have a look. Right. Is my number on A? The answer is yes. Is my number on B? The answer is yes. Is my number on C? The answer is yes. Is my number on D? The answer is yes. Is my number on E? The answer is yes. Is my answer on F? The answer is no. Do you know what my number is?
Yeah.
I want you all to shout it out at the same time. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. You guys are absolutely brilliant. That was well done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to email this to your teachers, and then you'll be able to use this to drive your family and your friends crazy. What's also cool is if you want to take this one step further, we know that A is 1 and B is double that, 2, and C is double that, 4, etc. So what you can do is you can print out these sheets, give it to your mom and dad, and you can say to them, choose a number from 1 to 63, and then just tell me which letters they are on. So your mom will take papers and go, my number is on A, B, and C. And then you would say A is 1, B is 2, and C is 4. What's 1 plus 2 plus 4? 7. And you can tell her that she chose the number 7 without even looking at any of the pages. So I hope you're going to try this trick on your moms and dads. But now we're going to do something completely different. I'm going to move my computer so that you can see this clearly. Can you see my cups? I just want to make sure that I bring it a little bit closer. Is that better? Can you see the number on it? 1, 2, and 3. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'll try and bring you a little bit closer to it. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this pretty easy for you. I'm going to take out a coin. I'm sure I've got a coin over here. I do. And I'm going to place the coin in cup. No, I'm not going to tell you which cup. Oh, I can tell you already. Number 2. But now you see, if I tell you it's in number 2, and I move it around, and I say, which cup is it in? You're all going to say it's number 2. And then you're going, oh, that was very easy. So what I'm going to do to make it a little bit more challenging is I'm not going to tell you which one I put it in. And you need to listen very carefully. This is the part where you use your ears. So ready? I'm going to put them under the table. Right. We have 2. We have 1. We have 3. Okay. So are you ready?
Yes.
Which one has got the coin in it? This one. Not in 2. This one. And of course, this one. Who thought it was a number 3? Did you think it was number 3? Now I'm going to make it a bit harder. I'm going to turn the numbers around so you can't see the numbers. Let me just quickly do it so you can't see. Can you see? No? Right, are you ready? And now I'll turn the numbers around so you can see them. Who says it's in this one over here? Is it in this one? Is it in this one here? It was in number 2. Who thought it was in number 2? Did you think so? Number 1? Wasn't it number 1? It was in number 2. Okay. So now I'm going to make this very challenging for you. When you have a coin, it means you can hear the rattling of the coin. So watch what I'm going to do. Ready? Okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
Right. Who says it's the first? And I'll move this a little bit further back so you can see it clearly. Tilt it down a little bit. Okay. Who says that it's this one here? No? Who says it's this one here? Who says this one here? Are you sure? Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it up. You ready? Nothing here. This one? And this one? So you were all wrong. Where did the water go? Okay, so if you've got an answer, put up your hand and I'll choose someone. I'm just going to mute all the classes. Okay, I've muted most of the classes. Okay, so if you've got an answer and you think you know where the water disappeared, Seamus, does anyone in your class want to answer? Where do they think the water disappeared?
Can you hear?
I can hear you, yes. Where did you think it went?
In a sponge.
A sponge. Well, actually, you are half right. It isn't actually a sponge, but a sponge would be quite good. But if you poured a lot of water in, I suppose some of the water would trickle out if you used a sponge. The real trick, are you ready for this one?
You didn't pour water in it. It's a nappy.
A baby's nappy. Inside the nappy, they've got this cotton wool. It looks like cotton wool, but actually, it's a type of super absorbent material that when you put it in the cup, and the minute you pour water in, it turns into a gel. Can you see that gel? And because it saves it as a gel, what is amazing is that I can now pour even more water in into the same glass. And if I stir it a little bit, okay, I'm just stirring a little bit like this.
Stir.
You can already see that it's, I don't know if you can see that, it's already starting to form into a gel. And when I do my little trick and I move it around like this, obviously I give it enough time, and then, ready for it?
Oh, you're on the computer.
And you must remember, I have filled about two-thirds of this bottle inside here, and it could probably take almost, it might even take the whole bottle in this one glass. That is how super absorbent this material is. In fact, Here's a quick maths question for you. If this material could absorb 8 times its own mass, and I poured in, let's say, 640 milliliters of water, how much did the cotton wool weigh on its own?
2 centimeters.
Well, you wouldn't really know how much the cotton wool would weigh. You just know that it absorbs 8 times its own mass. But then wait a second. If we know that we've put in 640 milliliters of water, that is equivalent to 640 grams. So what is 640 divided by 8? Do any of you know?
40 divided by 8. 80
grams. So if you took 80 grams of this powder, it can take 640 milliliters of water. Can you imagine how super cool that would be for fields that don't get any rain? You could pour the stuff all over the fields and it would hold the rainwater and lots of it for a long time, which is hopefully something that farmers will be able to do in countries where drought is quite prevalent. But now we're going to do something completely different. I want to show you something which is quite exciting for me because it is mathematical, but sometimes people call it magical. And it goes like this. I have over here a strip of paper. Can you see it? I took a normal piece of paper and I glued it so that it made a little extra long one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it to make a ring like that. Can you all see the ring? Now, as mathematicians and scientists, we often have to come up with a hypothesis. There's kind of like a theory on what we think is going to happen. So what is your hypothesis if I cut down the middle of this piece of paper all the way around? What do you think is going to happen? Think about it. Deirdre, I see a hand up in your class at the back there. Someone with glasses. What's going to happen, Sarah, if I cut this down the middle?
Circle.
Circle? How many circles? If I cut all the way down the middle.
One big one.
One big one.
Yes.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look. So I'm cutting all the way down the middle. And we're almost there. We're almost there. And Sarah, are we going to have 1 or 2? I got 2. But that wasn't really a surprise. We kind of expected that. But now watch what happens when I take the same piece of paper. This time, I'm going to take a piece of paper, and instead of sticking it on like this, I'm going to give it one twist. What do you think is going to happen? One twist. Let's go to Shalanti. Shalanti, what do you think is going to happen if I give it one twist, Shalanti? Let's do that. We're going to cut it in half. And here it goes. It's moving all the way down the middle. And we're reaching the finishing line very soon. And we're almost there, we're almost there, we're almost there. And of course, we're expecting 2 circles, aren't we? Only 1. That's a bit surprising, isn't it? That is quite surprising. So let's try this. I'm now going to take the same piece of paper and I'm going to twist it twice. Let's see if you can work out what you think is going to happen. So I'm going to take the glue stick, and I'm going to place the glue on there, and I'm going to go 1, 2, and I've now made 2 twists. What do you think is going to happen when I cut down the middle of this particular piece of paper? Now we can't see Niall, but maybe Niall, someone in your class wants to tell us how many rings we will get if we cut down the middle. You're going with 2. Okay? Let's find out. Let's find out. You ready? Here goes. I make my cut. And of course, as mathematicians and scientists, we often make up a theory of what we think is going to happen, and then you have to actually test it out. You have to do a proof to show that what you think is going to happen will actually happen. So let's see. I've cut down the middle. I'm almost there. And I make my cut, and look at that. It's a ring inside another ring. How cool is that? That's pretty cool, isn't it? Okay, so one last trick I want to show you with the paper, which you can experiment with at home, is I'm going to take these 2 pieces, and then I'm going to stick them in the shape of a cross. Here we go. And then I'm going to take the top part and I'm going to stick it without doing any bends whatsoever, no twists. And then I'll take the bottom one and I'm going to stick it like this.
Made a chain.
Are you ready for this? It looks a bit like a chain, doesn't it? So my question to you is, if I cut down the middle for all of these, for both rings, what shape will we get out of that? 2 rings, 1 ring? Will they be joined? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. I'm going to cut it. We're making our first cut all the way through. And of course, after the first cut, this comes as no surprise to many people, but it kind of looks like handcuffs. Can you see that? Oops, this one's come loose. Just stick it on. It looks like handcuffs. Oops. We just quickly stick that one back on, which we're not really surprised about. We expected them to look like handcuffs. But now, watch what happens when we cut the other one. This might surprise you a little bit. And I'll stand back so that you can see it. You ready? Here it goes. I'll stand back so you can see it. Oops. If it hadn't come apart, on. What shape is it? Actually a square. And there are many cool experiments that you can actually do with paper. It's a wonderful section of maths called the Möbius strip. And if you know how to fold them, you can actually get 2 hearts linked inside one another as well. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mute you all because we're going to go on to the brain teaser section. And I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to catch you all out with my brain teaser. Are you all ready for the brain teaser?
Yes.
Okay, let's just have a look. I'm just muting Martina And then Niall, we're going to mute you in your other room. And Seamus, we're going to mute you as well. And now, we won't have any sound coming from you, but you'll get to hear my story first. And then you're going to have to try and work out what the answer is. So, once upon a time, there was a very evil king. And this particular king, he loved doing very bad things. The one thing that was very bad is that every Tuesday evening, he would execute one person. Now, you all know what the word execute means. So, of course, he happened to pick one person, and we'll just choose someone. Let's pick a name. We'll choose Niall. He chooses Niall, and he says to Niall, Niall, I'm putting you in jail this morning because tonight you are going to be executed. Now, what is Niall's chance of survival? It's going to be 0. 0 out of 0. He's not going to survive because he knows he's going to be executed. So he decides he is going to challenge the king to some sort of game where he can improve his chances of survival. And you know what he does? He says to the king, Your Highness, let's play a game that maybe I could win and then you would let me go. So the king thinks about it and he goes, I've got a very cool game. I'm going to take a bag and it'll be a black material bag, and I'm going to put 2 marbles in it, a red marble and a blue marble. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to close your eyes, put your hand in the bag, and take out 1 marble. If it is blue, I will let you live. And if it is red, I'm afraid you're going to have to die. So, of course, his chance of survival is now 1 out of 2, or 50% if you've learned percentages. But you'll do realize that he has a chance now of surviving, whereas in the beginning he had no chance of survival. So here's what he did. He said to the king, King, I appreciate the fact that you're giving me a chance to survive. What time are we going to do this little game? And the king said, we're going to do it in about 20 minutes as soon as my guard has put the red and the blue marble in the bag. But then the king goes to his guard and says to him, listen, I'm not a very big fan of Niall. I think what we should do is put 2 red marbles in the jar. And that in the bag. And that way, Niall will definitely pull out a red, and there's no ways he can survive. But of course, Niall overhears this, and he thinks to himself, whew, that's not very fair. But he also knows that if he says out loud to everyone, the king's cheating, the king will just blame someone else, and then they'll just be executed anyway. So he can't embarrass the king in front of everyone. So now how does he get to survive? So what happens is they lead him out to the big place where all the crowds are standing. They blindfold him, and he puts his hand in the bag. Now he knows that there are 2 red marbles in there. But he puts his hand in the bag, he does something, and because of that, he survives. I would like to know, what did he do that would allow him to survive? So what I'm going to do is I want you to think about it, discuss it amongst you, and then I'm going to ask the teacher to pick one person from each class to try and give an answer. So think about it. There's a bag, it's got 2 red marbles in it. He knows there are 2 red marbles. The audience do not. They think that there's a red and a blue. And they know that he's going to put his hand in and take out 1, which is what he did. But then he did something, and because of that, he survived. What did he do to survive? So think about it, discuss it with your friends, and we'll start off with Brendan. We'll go to Brendan's class. You can unmute yourself and send us one of your volunteers who would like to tell us what they think he did to survive. Okay, Brendan's not ready. We'll come back. Oh, Brendan, you ready? Okay? No? There we go. Okay, so Brendan's going to tell us. Right. What did he do to survive?
He picked up both red marbles out of the bag and showed everyone else in the crowd.
Ah, now that is a good idea. He took out 2 red marbles and said, look, everyone, 2 red marbles. And then the king said, oh, my silly god, he got it wrong. He should have put in a red and a blue. So let's do this all over again. So, of course, the king was too smart. You can't catch him out that way. Nice try, but maybe someone in Deidre's class can tell me.
Okay, come up here, please, Jack Monaghan. Amber.
Come over, Amber.
Come on over, Amber. Let's hear your answer.
He put a blue one in his hand and then pretended to be a red one.
Now, Amber, that was good thinking because everyone carries a blue marble in their hand to put in a bag. But I see your blue marble. You don't have one? Well, neither did Niall, I'm afraid. Nice try, though. If people normally carry blue marbles in their pocket, it would be very useful. But since the king came up with the game, he had no idea that that was going to be the plan. Let's try Dondi in Hungary. You want to give it a go? You can unmute yourself. They've now switched off their camera and muted themselves. We'll come back to Dondi. Let's try Lauren's class.
Hi.
No idea here, Steve. Sorry.
You don't know. Okay. Let's go to Marcia. Marcia, what do you think?
Ross, you got it. Okay. Look there. In the camera. Hey, what do you want to say?
I think when he was putting his hand in the bag, I think the marble came from. I think he had a marble in his jersey, and it rolled down and it went in the bag.
Ooh. So he did a little bit of magic. He actually had an extra marble, a blue marble in his sleeve that rolled down his arm into the bag. That would have been good, except he had no idea the king was going to make a game involving red and blue marbles. So he actually didn't have any extra blue marbles to use. Nice idea, but that's not what we're looking for. Maybe we've got Martina, maybe someone in your class. You're going to have to unmute yourself.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
He told the king to pick it instead of him.
Yeah.
Ah, so the king puts his hand in and he pulls out a red marble and goes, look, he got a red marble. Too bad, let's execute him.
Yes.
Too bad. So nice try, but that didn't help. No? Let's try someone. Niall, do you want to give it a go? Maybe one of your students?
No, you just.
So, I mean, Niall was the one who was being executed, so maybe he might have an inside edge here.
Maybe he ran away.
So what happened? No, we're not getting much of an answer there. Let's go to the next group. We'll mute Niall there, and we're going to go to Seamus's group.
Listen, guys, listen.
No.
Come a little bit higher up so we can see your face. There we go. That's it. What do you think? Oh, you've got no sound. We just see your lips moving, but we can't hear you. There we go.
Come up because it's on YouTube. Speak up, Jigger.
Maybe now talk to the guard.
I didn't hear that at all, but I did hear the bell ringing. Let's try it one more time.
Did Niall talk to the guard about it?
Ah, did Niall talk to the guard? Now that's not a bad idea, except he didn't.
Oh.
So now, because we have run out of time, I'm going to tell you the answer, and this really is a cool one. Are you ready for it? Oh, they say, no, don't tell us the answer, but I'm going to have to tell you. The answer is that Niall puts his hand in the bag, he takes out a marble, and everyone in the audience is going, which one is it? Which one is it? And he takes it and he goes, boom, and he swallows it. And they go, well, which one did you swallow? And he says, well, let's have a look at which one is left in the bag, and I must have swallowed the other one. So when they open the bag and they find the red one left over, they go, oh, he must have swallowed the blue one. And since he has swallowed it, of course, there's no proof. And that's the way he manages to survive. Now, boys and girls, did you enjoy that? Now you can unmute all the microphones. Okay, so before we all go, what I'm keen to do is I would very much like if the whole class can, if all the students can pose with myself in the background at the screen, and then the teacher could take a group photograph of all of us together, and then we'll be able to send it to each other, so we've got a record of all of this. So all of you come stand at the screen.
No. Everybody in your seat.
Right. Doing it, you just turn around.
I see we have people dabbing. Alright, and now people are popping out of the room. Alright, so we're going to say goodbye to everyone. We hope that you had lots of fun.